Good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to another edition of Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 31st day of March, 2020. Well, I hope everybody's doing okay. If you are staying home, I hope you're finding things to do. That's kind of what the astrology is telling us today. If we're experiencing any frustrations, we're going to want to find some physical outlet for it. So find some creative ways to exercise and maybe go online or something to YouTube and find something that you can follow along with. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there putting things up now. So I think the response amongst the people in terms of helping people get through all of this has been remarkable, really. And I think that it's going to continue until, we're on the other side of this. So that's pretty cool when you think about it. People that are trying to have a positive effect on others that they don't even know during an extraordinarily difficult time. I think it's the best of us, isn't it? The moon's in the second house of Cancer. So second house usually deals with resources, sometimes possessions. So home and family are going to be on your mind today. Nurture self and others. If you haven't checked in with somebody that you need to check in with, do so. If you're estranged from anyone in your family, I recommend that you just put that aside for now and just let them know that you love them. This is people who are coping with this disease, with this virus, whether they're doing it at home, they're likely isolated and by themselves. If they're doing it in a hospital, their family isn't with them, especially if they're, if they're in ICU, they're not going to be allowed in, and or at least it doesn't seem like they're going to be. We don't have enough personal protective equipment, thanks to the president. So I don't know. People are having to leave this earth without their family present. So take this time. We don't know. We don't know what things are going to be like. So please take this time. Mend fences, drop it all. Just go and be with the people that you're supposed to be with instead of being at odds with them. If it was election oriented, let it go. He's not going to be reelected. The world's going to be a different place. And come November. So I think that, and I believe that. I don't believe that he's going to get back into the office. I don't think it's even humanly possible at this point. So, not given the way he's behaving now. This is not good. And so take this time, please, and restore the relationships that might have been strained by him. Because please understand that, your friends and family might have found their guy, but they didn't understand what they did. So there's no way they could have known who he actually is. We knew some things, but some of this we just didn't know until now, right? So a new path may open today. The moon conjunct the north node and opposite the south node, because they're not always the same, sometimes they are. But it's a strong aspect for both, and a new path could open today. Make positive changes. You don't know, something could open for you today that makes things easier. Again, if someone gives you a call you haven't talked to in a while, they might have some ideas for you. Sun, 11th house, Aries, again, stay connected with others. Go with the flow, semi-square with Venus. Go with the flow. Reassess frequently. If something isn't working, then let it go. Try something else. Focus on the positive of what can actually happen now. So don't try to do things that simply can't happen, because that's a source of frustration. You're going to be so frustrated because, well, I can't do it. Well, you can't. So don't go there. In other words, my mother used to say, pick your battles. I guess it's kind of like that. So Mercury, 11th house, Pisces still. Intuition is strong. Again, stay connected online. Semi-square Mars. Here's where the frustration is talking about here. Astrologically, it may build because of self-isolation. Find physical ways to express that energy. And again, don't try to do things aren't going to work or aren't possible right now. Don't live there. Live in what can be right now. let's see, semi-square Saturn and Mercury. Although the situation may be frustrating and delays are happening, again, just see it a different way. That's really the only thing you can do. You can live in frustration or you can see it a different way. I don't know. There's no middle ground, I don't think, there. Venus, 12th house Taurus still. Nurture the feminine side. Nurture one another from a distance. So Mars, 9th house Aquarius. This is new. Use this time for individual study, expand knowledge. Conjunct Saturn, between Saturn and Mars. Patience is necessary. Again, physical activity may help. Let's see, same with Jupiter, 9th house Capricorn. Saturn, 9th house Aquarius. Think outside the box still. Uranus, still 12th house Taurus. Be open to change and new experiences. I don't know. You know, we're going to be doing this for the foreseeable future until we can get the virus under control. And I don't know. I think it's worth it. You know, our lives are worth it. So, again, Uranus still medium influence, semi-square Neptune. Guard against the deception or the long played con. I've been saying that every day because that's still in effect. He's a liar. There's nothing the man says that's true. I know that people can hardly believe that that's even possible, but it is. There are some people who pathologically lie. They don't get any power or sense of power or control out of telling the truth. Me, on the other hand, I'm really happy when I tell the truth, and I have a very difficult time lying. I can't do it. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm an empath, but lying is just something I can't pull off. So I can't do it, right? So for me, when I can convince somebody that something's true, I'm so thrilled because it's the truth, right? And it's something they need to know, right? So, but not everybody is like that. Most people are. Most people, I think, are. But some of them aren't. And when they're not, it can reach pathological levels. And that's what we have now. Someone in the highest office of the land who can't tell the truth to save his soul. At a time of a pandemic when we need the truth, he gives away our personal protective equipment that our first responders need. That's what he does. Oh, yeah. And then doesn't tell the truth about it. Doesn't tell them he did it. Just bullies them and says, oh, why are you walking out the back door with them? I don't do vulgarity here. So whatever vulgarity that comes to mind in your minds, just think it, because I am. Yeah. Pluto, 9th house Capricorn, still see the truth of self during this time. We need to wake up about what really matters here. And it's us. It's you and me. Yeah, it's just you and me. All of us. That guy in the Oval Office, he can go away. He can shut up because he's not helping. He's hurting. Think of all the states that won't shut down things because they're aligned with him. Think about how many people are going to be hurt by this. Yeah. So think whatever you want. Lilith, 12th house Aries, look within and develop a more balanced expression. Well, I don't know. I think it's more honest is really the word we're looking for. Live in truth. You know, you can live in lies that he wants you to believe. You can buy into the con, the long played con by a con artist, or you can live in truth. And you got to live in truth now. No other choice, right? No other choice. Chiron, still 12th house Aries. The space may now open to heal others. Life is changing now, you know. Values are being questioned. You may have the opportunity now as resistance has dropped and relationships are starting to heal, maybe, that you can be a source of healing for someone else, and a source of support and comfort during this time. It's on us now. Of course, it always has been, I think. But if you want to depend on somebody that is so insane that he can't be depended on, I don't know. It's not going to work. So Anyhow, I guess that's it. And we'll stop with the astrology and move on to the reading. But I think that, you know, I think astrologically, it's really giving us clues as to the focus we need to have right now. And it's on each other, on supporting one another and being there for each other. That's what this is all about now. And we can do that. You know, if there's issues later on that you need to deal with, well, then deal with them. But right now, let's drop all of it and let's just come together and care about each other. That's what's really going to get us through, I think. So if this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming by. We chat a little and then we do the reading. So I'm going to do 3 cards randomly, the 13th card each time, just for randomness sake. I don't do it in any other readings, just here. And then I'm going to take a rune from the Elder Futhark bag, and then we'll do a geomancy rune. I forgot to do it on Thursday of last week, so I had to do it, and then I put it down below in the comments. That's the thing. If I forget something, you do want to check the comments of these things, because sometimes I do write stuff. I don't do it very often, but if I forget something or something comes to mind, or I forget to say something, or I screw up or something, and it's not enough to do the video over again, then I'll say something about it down below. So just you want to check there just to make sure I haven't, you know, revised something along the way. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Well, we begin with the devil. Focus on earthly issues. Only in this case, it's ego, being bound to ego. 15th card of the major arcana. You're looking at a 6 energy. That's higher self. So higher self is suggesting, you know, you do want to remember that you are higher self. You are spirit. You are a soul. And you don't have those devil issues there. So it only happens when you come here, and it's when we focus into ego. And we forget that we're actually the creator manifested into form. So, you know. Then all kinds of hijinks ensue, don't they? Mind, body, spirit, balance, reciprocity with others, love, benevolence, the 3 of Cups. Alignment with others, staying connected, heart connection with others. Doesn't happen so much when the ego takes over. It's one where you really, really, really want to maintain a mind, body, spirit balance with an emphasis on spirit. You really do want spirit driving the whole vehicle right now. You really don't want ego doing it. Ego's going to have you ignoring the warnings. Ego's going to have you not respecting the social distance. Ego is going to have you not wearing masks in public when you need to go to the grocery store, or gloves, or both, actually. I read something yesterday where the CDC might start recommending this, that we do wear protection when we're outside going to the grocery store. I don't understand why they haven't told us to do that yet. Maybe it's because we don't have any and we have to make it. I've been making them. I did. Where are they? I've got 2 more that I'm working on now. I just need to do the strings on them. I've got some of them done, but I've got the basic mask done. But I found the pattern online, you know, of where you're making your masks, and it's a pillow type to where you can put stuff inside for more padding and more, you know, so you could get it around your face. My strings are pretty long, and so they will go around all the way around. But anyway, you're likely going to have to make them, and I don't really care how you do it. You can use a pattern, you can find one online like I did, or you could just take a wash rag or a towel, fold it up, you know, poke some holes in it, put some string and tie it around your face. Put padding in there. Do whatever you have to do. It's not going to be an N95. So, I mean, if you are around sick people, it's not going to protect you really. But if you're out at the grocery store quickly, I don't know. It might be enough just to keep you safe. And wear gloves, you know, wear gloves. Don't let ego get in the way of taking care of you, and not just you, everybody you come in contact with, right? It's not a plot by the deep state to control you. It's a virus. Here we have the King of Pentacles. Concerned with his wealth, his back to the town, his back to the kingdom. More concerned with his own stuff than anything else. You notice he's not dispensing the grapes or the abundance or the wealth to the people behind him, right? So, the choice we have, we're going to put the king in the center today, and we're going to make him the focal point of the reading, because unfortunately, he is the focal point right now. I think that when you have somebody that cannot think about other people, when they can only think about increasing their own wealth and their own abundance, they always do it at the expense of everyone else. I don't care if it's somebody who's in authority. I don't care if it's a neighbor. You know these people. Well, unfortunately, we know these people. And they always just seem to think solely about themselves. They don't care about what someone else is going through. It's when a neighbor trespasses and does things on your property as if it's their own, who assumes that they can, use your driveway or something to reach wherever they want to go without asking permission. They just assume, and they do, and they assume because they're entitled. We've all known people like this. And unfortunately, right now, though, we need to not know people like that. We need people to rise to the occasion and to be able to think about other people, not just themselves, right? The King of Pentacles typically is probably the least intrusive king, but when it comes right down to taking care of the foundational issues of our lives, he can't do it. Right? If there's not a queen standing there telling him, look, dude, you got to take care of the people. You can't sit out there in your throne, in your garden, with all your stuff around you, forgetting that people need you. See, he doesn't have that in this reading. There's no queen in this reading. There's three women going on about their lives in reciprocity with one another, taking care of each other, which is what we have to do now that we have a king like this, or a president like this, who would rather send supplies to other countries than to states that need them. Mr. Ego. Are you going to be chained to him? Is that who you're going to be chained to? Or are you going to be chained to one another? Raising your cups, your emotions, your love high. Raising that frequency high, so that we can come together in shared purpose, shared sacrifice, shared support of one another during this time, which means you don't go to beaches with 1 million people. I don't know. I don't know why people can't understand this. I really don't. I guess they just arrested one pastor for doing this, for bringing a whole bunch of people together after the state was told to self-isolate and to avoid this and not to do this. They did it anyway. So he got arrested. Yeah. Bust these people. Put them in jail. I don't care. Do it. If it shakes people up enough to understand that this is real, and that if you don't take care of yourself and if you don't isolate, something bad's going to happen, I at this point, do whatever is necessary. Do the most extreme thing you can think of. If it means arresting a pastor, then do it. He's a position of authority over people. He's telling them to come to church. They shouldn't be going to church right now. You can worship in your home. What, the only place you can worship God is in a church? Please. Please. Why couldn't he have done a service virtually online that everybody could tune into? Have everybody protect his parishioners. Protect them. But no. That's not what we're doing, is it? Well, most of us are, but some of us aren't. Again, I don't use vulgarity here. I'm thinking it. Bet you are too, as you do the right thing. This is all yeast. 15th rune of the Elder Futhark. So, unlike the devil, well, actually, let's look at them both. Who are you worshiping? Let's do it upside down so you can see it better. The thing about algaes, what you're looking at here is air, fire, and water up top and earth at the bottom. You can either look at it in terms of raising your arms in supplication to spirit, or you can look at it as spirit energy flowing into form. The issue here is to have spirit inform what's going on now. Inform our choices, inform our perceptions, and just inform everything. And if we do that, we're going to come out of this a whole lot better. If we allow the devil, because the devil is informing the king, if we allow ego to inform the process, we're going to get nowhere, or worse. So come together, align mind, body, spirit within, be able to then support other people during this time in a way that where you are socially isolating or distancing, so that you don't cause any more harm. If you don't, what if you're asymptomatic? What if you really have the virus and you're around people and you're touching surfaces and they're touching surfaces? What if you don't know you're ill? Right now, we've had this experience of a man in office who cannot think about anyone but himself, who is so self-dealing that he got himself impeached. He got impeached for a real thing. He committed a crime, basically. Crimes that Mr. Mueller says he committed crimes before. A judge, DOJ just sent the redacted or the unredacted version that Barr went and redacted so that we couldn't see anything. The judge just ordered it. They gave it to him yesterday. He's going to see just exactly what Barr did. So that's going to be interesting when we can finally see the whole thing. We have to know who this guy is, right? You have to know who your president is. And I'm sorry that people have, lied and gotten somebody in there that shouldn't be. That's what happened. We have Tristitia for today's geomancy rune, and I'll draw that out for you. Tristitia and its complement, Laetitia, is joy, so obviously Tristitia's loss or sadness, probably more sadness. Right now we're going through a lot of that, especially if you have people that haven't survived this. Lots of sadness going on, lots of frustration. Passive influences for fire, air, water, and an active influence for earth. So lots of things happening. There's not a lot of source presence coming into that whole experience other than to help them pass. And so the focus, again, you could also say, if you look at it in terms of focus, if it's not simply describing what some of us are experiencing right now, as we lose people to this, you could look at it that way. But you could also look at it as the focus downward into ego. You see? You see how the flow goes down into ego with this? So if you look at it, you can choose joy or you can choose loss. Now, or sadness. And realistically, even though we're reactive beings and we think, oh, well, I don't have a choice. I have to be sad if something sad happens. Sure, but you can also change how you see all of that. And I think if you can see it from a different standpoint, and you're going to have to determine what that is for you, basically. But again, perspective matters right now. And if we focus too much on the loss of it, we're going to be stuck at home versus safe at home. Do you see the difference? And it really is one of perception and not necessarily of truth. Although for many in this country, being home right now, they don't know how they're going to eat. So there's a lot of things going on right now that need to be dealt with that aren't. And sadness and loss and all of that are things that we're going to be coping with going forward. So again, how much we want to center there is going to determine how we are able to work through all of this. If we can release a little bit from that's the sadness and the loss and the difficulty of this, if we can turn our attention to trying to find a way forward and through it, if it's at all possible to do that. And I know for some it's not going to be. So don't think that I'm telling you that you have to do something like that if you're not ready. But just keep it in the back of your mind and know that at some point you're going to go there one day, and the sadness and the loss will give way to something else. And I don't know. I don't know what else we do, really. So right now, just get through the day as best you can. Come back tomorrow. We'll chat again. We'll see what the astrology says. We'll see what the cards say. But I suspect that it's going to continue to go this way for the foreseeable future, where we talk about shared purpose and we talk about managing the emotions that we're having right now. People understand, You have time to see and to watch television, and you watch the news and you see what's going on. People understand. So I just think we're in it together, aren't we? Well, that's enough of that. I'll have some tea. Come back tomorrow. We'll talk soon. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.